Hey guys, ever went to the hardware store just to get a drill and you get this with it? Well, this is a driver. What's the difference between a drill and a driver? Stick around, we'll talk about it right after this. All right, guys, the main difference between a drill and a driver is power. Now, a driver is sometimes called an impact drill, but technically there's no such thing as an impact drill. There are drills and there are drivers or impact drivers. An impact driver is more compact and lightweight than a drill, and it doesn't have a chuck like a drill. It has a quick change clamp that holds drill bits or driver bits with a hexagonal shank base. Okay, so this is the quick change clamp here, and you just pull it out like that, and you put your drill bit with a hexagonal base. Now that's the hexagonal base. That just means it has 6 sides to it, okay, into this. All right, so you pull that out like that, and you stick it in there, let it go, and there you go. Now this 6-sided or hexagonal shank base makes sense in terms of its ability to not slip in the driver due to the high impact torque action of the driver. Imagine if that was just a round base. If you're using an impact driver to drill into very hard surfaces or drive in a very large bolt or fastener, it wouldn't work. You need the angled sides with straight edges to be able to take the impact of the torque and the rotational action of the impact driver. Now that brings us to another major difference between a driver and a drill, and that's torque. A driver has more torque than a drill. Now what is torque? Torque is the force a drill or driver produces to turn an object, not how fast the object turns. It's kind of like the difference between voltage and amperage. Voltage can be seen as the force of electricity versus amperage, which is the flow of electricity. Hope you guys got that. For example, this drill is a 2-speed drill. The switch on top allows us to set the speeds of the drill. To get the most torque on a 2-speed drill, you need to be in the lowest gear, which is 1. That's the gear it's in right now. This gear is usually for when you're drilling into harder materials. To get the most speed on the drill, you would need to switch to a higher gear, and that's 2. So let's go ahead and switch that. The higher the gear or speed, the less torque or force you need. And that's usually if you're trying to penetrate softer materials. All right, so I'm pretty much sure we've figured out that there's an inverse relationship between speed and torque. The faster the speed, the less torque you need. The more torque you need, the slower the speed. But what about these other numbers all around the spindle of the drill right here? Well, they're also torque settings, and they allow you to dial in a specific amount of torque or speed that you need, and they vary from drill to drill. On this drill, it goes from 1 to 18. And then you have the drill symbol. On other drills, you have 1 to 15, 1 to 20, depending on the brand. Now, in the case of the numbers on the spindle, it's opposite what the switch speeds mean, as we learned before. 1 is the lowest gear that provides the most torque. 2 is the highest gear, which provides the least torque, but the most speed. Number 1 on the spindle provides the least torque and the highest speed, all the way up to 18, which provides the most torque numerically. Actually, the numbers on the spindle or the torque settings are in divisions of 2. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way up to 18, but you get the point. Then you have the drill symbol. The drill symbol actually puts the drill in maximum torque mode, and it's used for most materials like brick, metal, and wood. But you got to be careful, because if you're trying to drive a screw into the material in this mode, you can ruin the screw. So all the other numbers allow you to be more precise and dial in what you need depending on how it feels. So you have to feel it out and then adjust accordingly the torque that you need. Okay, so we see that both a drill and a driver use torque to operate efficiently. But why is a driver better in terms of power in the form of more torque? Well, there's a term called reactive torque. Reactive torque is the pushback you feel from the drill when in operation. The drill body wants to spin in the opposite direction of the drill bit or fastener. This pushback may be minimal when you're drilling into softer materials, but it becomes very noticeable when drilling into harder materials. In this case, more force is necessary from you to counteract the reactive force or torque when penetrating the material or driving in a fastener, especially a large fastener like a lag bolt or very large screw. If you're not careful, enough reactive torque from the drill can injure your wrist or possibly break it in extreme cases. So you must hold it firmly and apply the right pressure. Did you guys notice the reactive torque from the drill as it jerked this way as I was drilling? Now, impact drivers provide even more torque than a drill can. But just like most things in life, there's a trade-off, and what a drill lacks in power, it makes up for in precision. Impact drivers are better for driving in those large fasteners like lag bolts and structural screws because impact drivers greatly reduce the amount of reactive torque that you would encounter in drills. That was pretty much no reactive torque from the impact driver. The internal mechanics of an impact driver not only allow it to produce more torque than a drill can, but it dishes out torque in quick bursts or impacts up to about 50 times a second, and that's where the tool gets its name, impact driver. Impact drivers also rotate the bit in a 2-step forward, 1-step back pattern, adding even more momentum to each impact. A drill motor only provides a constant linear trajectory or direction to the drill bit. So you can definitely see the advantages of an impact driver over a drill in terms of torque. And it's especially more useful and efficient when you have to install large amounts of fasteners into wood or metal, especially large fasteners on a project. Most of the time I like to use the drill and the impact driver in combination with each other. They seem to work great together, especially when I'm drilling into metal. I take a drill bit that's made for wood and metal, and I drill holes first, pilot holes with the drill, and then when I gotta put screws in them, I follow up with the impact driver. Makes a great combination. I'll demonstrate. Here's a metal strip that's a little over 1/8 of an inch thick. The last two I had on the lowest speed of the drill and provided more torque. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit and put it on 2, the second gear. See what happened? I gained the speed, lost the torque, and it got stuck. So I'm gonna put it back on the lower gear. Now let's go ahead and take our impact driver to put some fasteners through metal, wood, and brick. I got some self-tapping screws here, so let's see what happens. I'm going to take my adapter and put it in the 1/4-inch socket. These guys work great as a team, and that's probably why they sell them together. Drill and driver. All right, guys, so we see that there's a trade-off between the power of an impact driver and the precision of a drill. Both are absolute must-haves in my opinion. So if you learned something from the video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the share button as well. And don't forget to go to Calibrate.com and check out some great products that we have for you there and beneath the video. Look beneath the video and see what we got to offer. And I have another video that talks about torque more in depth. So I'll leave that link in the description as well. See you on the next one.